Hi, today I want to talk about model rockets, one of my new hobbies. I have here a model rocket kit. You can buy these anywhere. So I recently got one of these. And I didn't think that it would actually fly, but it's an actual rocket and it has all the components similar to like real world rockets. So here are the components. There's fins at the bottom. There's an engine spot for the engine. And here's the nose cone. So let's take it apart and see what's inside. So here's the nose cone, and this is a shock cord. So you'll figure out what the shock cord does in just a second. Okay, so this is called a recovery system, okay? This is the way you can reuse this rocket and not being a one-time use. Because imagine what would happen if it just went without this. It would just go up. And then once it comes back down, it would just go down at the speed of gravity, and then it would explode on impact. So that's not good. So this recovery system, it's attached to a shock cord, which is one end attached to this, one end is supposed to be attached to this. I have to re-glue it. But the thing is, once that shock cord is attached, there is a recovery system. This one's the most basic one. It's called the streamer. Basically what it does is once it's in the air, this streams around in the air, slowing it down. And since this part is all connected, it's supposed to be connected, everything slows down and then it floats to the ground. And then you can reuse it. So that's the streamer. So if you look at this, there's a little launch lug here. What this does is, this is like an empty hole. There's like a little metal stick that you slide this down, and then when it launches, it just goes up. So that's what that is. And then the fins are there to provide stability to the rocket. Basically, without the fins, it would go any direction it wanted. It would go like that. But with the fins, it follows a straight path, and the rocket is way more stable. And then finally, this is the engine hook. This is a way to prevent the engine from falling out. So there are a lot of other parts, including rocket wadding, the engine itself, igniter, and I don't have those with me right now. This is just like the basic parts of building a rocket. I do, however, have a D125 engine. This is one of the stronger engines for amateur model rocketry. So this engine doesn't fit in this one because this is a bigger one. But if you look at this engine, there's many parts to it. You put an igniter here, and then the igniter is electric. Basically, you can turn it on with a wire or a battery, and you can be at a safe distance away from the rocket. So if you look at this engine, there's an initial launch, basically fuel going from here to about here, and that fuel propels the rocket straight up. So you might be wondering, how does the nose cone come out and like activate this recovery system? Well, what happens is, since the engine is somewhere around here burning, as it's burning, once it reaches the end of the burning period, there's a slight delay, okay, that's called the delay time, and then there's a really small explosive charge, kind of like gunpowder, and it explodes, and once it explodes here, it's a very small controlled explosion, it explodes, and then that propels the nose cone out, and that sends the recovery system into working. And that's how it works. I have some more model rockets with me. I'll show you this one. This one is very similar, mainly because it also has a streamer. This one is called a cluster rocket because it has two engines going at the same time. And this one, instead of the engine hook, it's a little screw-on clip thing, so the engine doesn't fall out. All the parts are basically the same. You have the fins, you have the body tube, you have the nose cone, and then you have the launch lug hole right here. And the recovery system is basically the same. And then this one, the shock cord is actually working. Okay, so here's the streamer. This is really tightly wrapped up. So during the launch, as it's nearing its highest point, after the delay, the explosive charge will go off, and then both these streamers will come out at the same time, letting the rocket come down safely. And now the most common type of recovery system is in this. This one's a lot more cosmetic. These are also real fins. They don't really do anything majorly different than these ones. They're just for decoration, and this thing doesn't do anything, it's just decoration. But here's the main engine hole, and if you look at the recovery system on this one, you take the nose cone out. This one has what we call a parachute. So this is the type of recovery system you might be expecting on real model rockets. So this is a bit more advanced than those streamers. So here we have a parachute, and basically it does the same thing as the streamer. When the ejection charge blows, this comes out, and it basically slows down the rocket enough so that it doesn't explode on impact with the ground. And that's basically it with model rockets. We have the engines, which are basically what I said, a little burning time and then an ejection. And then we have these nose cones, we have the body tube, and then we have the fins. That's basically it with the model rockets, and you can do so much with them. And yeah, that's my new hobby. Thanks.